Hello there, future chatters. Welcome to paper discussion series by More Academy. Hope your answers are matching with the model answers. If not, then don't worry. Continue studying and revising all the topics to improve your performance. Also, don't forget to like and share these videos and subscribe to this channel to get notification for the new video alerts. I am Professor Anand More, your guide to CA career. And in this video, I'll be discussing question number 4 from the exam paper of December 2021. A little lengthy question. So let us start with the question now. Now the question reads as follows. The income and expenditure account of Women Club for the year ended on 31st December 2021 is as follows. Expenditure on the debit side, income on the credit side. To salaries 47,500, to general expenses, to audit fees, to secretary's honorarium, to stationery and printing, to annual dinner expenses, to interest and bank charges, to depreciation, and then to surplus. On the credit side, we have by subscription, by entrance fees, by contribution for annual dinner, by annual sports meet receipts. This account has been prepared after the following adjustments. Subscription outstanding at the end of 2020, rupees 6,000. Subscription received in advance on 31st December 2020, rupees 4,500. Subscription received in advance on 31st December 2021, 2,700. Subscription outstanding on 31st December 2021, 7,500. Salaries outstanding at the beginning and at the end of the year 2021 were respectively rupees 4,000 and 4,500. General expenses include insurance prepaid to the extent of rupees 600. Audit fees for the year 2021 is as yet unpaid. During the year 2021, audit fees for the year of 2020 was paid amounting to rupees 2,000. The club owned a freehold lease of ground valued at rupees 1 lakh. The club had sports equipment on 1st January 2021 valued at rupees 26,000. At the end of the year 2021, after depreciation, the equipment amounted to rupees 27,000. In the year of 2020, the club had raised a bank loan of rupees 20,000. This was outstanding throughout the year of 2021. On 31st December 2021, in hand was rupees 16,000. You are required to prepare receipts and payment account for the year ended 31st December 2021 and balance sheet as on that date. Now, just like our regular method, let us first of all check the observations before solving the problem. So the first observation is problem has already given income and expenditure account. We are asked to prepare receipt and payment account together with closing balance sheet on 31st December 2021. The club follows calendar year for the purpose of accounting. This is important point. The club is not following financial year, club is following calendar year. Note that any item of income and expenditure will have only one effect when we are solving the problem, and any item from the adjustments will have two effects or minimum two effects or multiples of two. The opening cash and bank is not given. If you have seen the problem properly, then they have given you subscriptions opening, land leasehold opening, the sports equipment opening, even loan amount is given, salaries outstanding, audit fees outstanding, many different things are given, but the problem is completely silent about opening cash and bank. The loan which is given of rupees 20,000 in the second last paragraph, loan of rupees 20,000 here, it was raised in the year of 2020. Since we are considering calendar year, it means it was raised in the earlier financial year. So it will have to appear in the opening balance sheet also. The general expenses, they are having an adjustment of prepaid insurance. General expenses include insurance prepaid to the extent of rupees 600. So the amount of general expenses rupees 5,000, which is shown in the income and expenditure account, is including insurance prepaid to the extent of 600. Now the word include may create confusion in the minds of student. Be careful. This is an income and expenditure account. Income and expenditure account is always considering only the items of expenses and income in relation to current year. If any item is paid or it is outstanding, but it is not in relation to current year, then it do not have any place or it does not have any place in the income and expenditure account. So although they are using the word includes insurance premium prepaid, to the extent of rupees 600. It means this particular amount of general expenditure, rupees 5,000, is after removing the amount of prepaid expenses. So although the word include is given, since we are considering income and expenditure account, we'll have to be careful about the same. I can specify that we are going from income and expenditure to receipt and payment. We need to find out actual payments made during the year, irrespective of the period for which it is paid. Hence, we need to add the prepaid insurance to general expenses to arrive at actual payment towards general expenses. Accordingly, general expenses in receipt and payment account would be 5,000 plus 600 is equal to 5,600. 5,000 are coming from your income and expenditure, so it will have only one effect. But 600 are coming from adjustment. That means they will have a second effect also. And the 600 is our closing asset because we have paid for the next year. So it will be considered as prepaid insurance in the closing balance sheet on asset side. The current year audit fee is of 2,500 as shown by the income and expenditure account. This is the amount of audit fees which is given in the income and expenditure account, 2,500. This is for current year. But they have clearly told here that the audit fees for the year of 2021 is as yet unpaid. Since it is unpaid, it is outstanding. It means this amount will be shown in the closing balance sheet liability side. So this 2,500 will have its second effect, only one effect it will be having, but it won't be in the receipt and payment account. It will be in the closing balance sheet on the liability side. Further, the adjustment states that last year audit fees of 2,000 are paid in the current year. That is mentioned here. During the year of 2021, audit fees for the year of 2020 was paid to the extent of rupees 2,000. So it means the last year audit fees of 2,000 are paid in current year. It means an amount of rupees 2,000 must be shown as outstanding in the opening balance sheet. If you are paying last year audit fees in the current year, in other words, last year audit fees were not paid in the last year. Since they were not paid in the last year, they were outstanding at the end of last year. That means they must be there in the last year closing balance sheet, that is current year opening balance sheet, as a liability. And it should be shown on the payment side of RNP account. So this 2,500 will have a second effect in the closing balance sheet liability side, and this 2,000 will be shown in the opening balance sheet liability side and then in the receipt and payment account payment side. Now when we are solving the problem, I would recommend you to leave one page each for receipt and payment account and closing balance sheet, because that is the main answer. That is what is asked by them. And then start writing the working notes. We'll need working notes for what? Number one, for opening balance sheet, that is on 1/1/21, or you can also say 31st December 2020. We'll need opening balance sheet first. And we'll also require subscriptions account, salaries account and sports equipment account, or maybe a statement which talks about how the calculation of subscription for receipt and payment account, salaries and for sports equipment is made. Remember, the opening balance sheet is necessary for the purpose of finding out the opening capital fund. But we also should note that they have not given us opening cash and bank balance. That means we'll have to first of all prepare the formats. Once the formats are ready, then we can go for the solution. Leave one page for receipt and payment format, leave another page for closing balance sheet format, then opening balance sheet, then working note for subscriptions, salaries and sports equipment. One page each is required for receipt and payment account and balance sheet. Working notes, obviously we are going to solve them, so it will be easy for the purpose of working. So let us now start with the formats. You have now prepared receipt and payment account on one page, closing balance sheet on one page, and then leave the opening balance sheet format as it is. Why we are keeping the opening balance sheet format in the working note as blank format? Because they have not given us the opening cash and bank account. Opening cash and bank account can be prepared by us only after preparing the receipt and payment account. So opening balance sheet, although is a part of working note, we are keeping that part also blank. At around half page will be necessary for the purpose of opening balance sheet. And now we'll go for the second working. That is a working for the purpose of subscriptions. There are two methods in which you can prepare the working note for subscriptions. Either you can prepare it in a statement method or you can prepare it in account method. Account method is easy to understand when I'm explaining. That's why I have prepared the account method here. There is no need for you to write both these different methods in the examination. Whichever method you find convenient, either the statement method, add less method, or the account method, whichever you find convenient, that you can prepare in the exam. Please don't write both of them. I have just shown it to you for the purpose of convenience of different types of student. Some students like statement, some students like account. Accordingly, I have shown both the presentations. Subscription account, remember this is an income for the club. they have told you in the income and expenditure account credit side income 75,000 of subscription. So income and expenditure account credit side by subscription, it means subscription account debit side to income and expenditure amount of 75,000 is given by the problem. Further, the problem has told you subscription outstanding at the end of 2020 rupees 6,000. Subscription outstanding for the club, outstanding subscription is the amount which is receivable. That means it's an opening asset. Asset always has a debit balance, and opening debit balance comes on debit side. So I'll write here opening receivable, that is an opening asset which is given by the problem 6,000. This will have a second effect in the opening balance sheet. The 75,000 is already having a second effect in the income and expenditure account. So we'll not have to worry about the same. But the 6,000, don't forget to show it in the opening balance sheet asset side. Next, subscription received in advance on 31st December 2020, 4,500. Subscription received in advance on 31st December 20. That means again they're talking about opening date. Received in advance. We have received in advance. That means it's something which we'll have to provide now for in the current year. The members have already paid the subscription. We'll have to give them the services. So members are our liabilities. It can be considered as an opening liability given by the problem. So opening received in advance. Liability means credit balance. Opening credit balance comes on credit side. So opening received in advance 4,500. Next, subscription received in advance on 31st December 2021. Amount is 2,700. This is received in advance on 31st December 21. That means it is closing received in advance. It's a closing liability. Since it's a closing liability, it's a closing credit balance, and closing balances are written exactly on the opposite side. So closing credit balance comes on debit side to closing received in advance rupees 2,700. And last, subscription outstanding on 31st December 21, 7,500. Outstanding means receivable. Receivable means asset. Closing asset means closing debit balance, and closing debit balance comes on credit side. So on the credit side, you'll write by closing receivable, closing asset given 7,500. So 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 are the amounts which are known to us. Out of which 75,000 second effect is already given by the problem. 6,000 we are going to show on opening balance sheet asset side. 4,500 we are going to show on opening balance sheet liability side. 2,700 we are going to show in the closing balance sheet liability side. And 7,500 we are going to show on the closing balance sheet asset side. Let us take the total. If it tallies, that's great. But it is obvious that it is not going to tally. The balancing figure represents the amount which is received in the current year in the receipt and payment account. Since cash is received, debit what comes in. So cash or bank account will be debited. That means receipt and payment account will be debited. Receipt and payment account debit to subscriptions. That means subscription account credit by receipt and payment. It's a balancing figure. So the second effect of the 71,700 will be given by us in the receipt and payment account debit side. So this is the account format for the purpose of subscription. You can also prepare the tabular format of add and less. If you want, pause the video, check out the particular format, you will get the same answer. Let us now go for the next working. Working note number 2. It talks about salaries. Remember, subscription was income for the club, whereas salary is an expenditure for the club. They have already told you in the current year that the amount of salaries are rupees 47,500. Income and expenditure account debit side, two salaries 47,500. That means salary account credit side by income and expenditure 47,500. They have also told you salaries outstanding at the beginning and at the end of the year were respectively rupees 4,000 and 4,500. Opening salary outstanding was 4,000. Opening outstanding means opening liability. Opening liability means opening credit balance. Opening credit balance comes on credit side. So salary account credit side by opening outstanding 4,000. And closing outstanding is 4,500. Closing outstanding means closing liability. Closing liability means closing credit balance. Closing credit balance comes on debit side. So we'll write here to closing outstanding 4,500. Then let us take the total of this account. 4,000 plus 47,500 is equal to 51,500. Out of that 4,500 is removed. What remains is 47,000. This will be transferred to receipt and payment account. Salary account debit side to receipt and payment. That means receipt and payment account credit side by salaries. Remember that the amount of rupees 47,500 is given by the problem. So there is no need for us to give any second effect for the same. 4,000 is given in the adjustment. That means the second effect will be in the opening balance sheet liability side. 4,500 closing balance sheet liability side, and 47,000 will be in the receipt and payment account credit side. Here we complete second working note. Let us now consider the third working note. Third working note is for sports equipment account. Subscription was income, salaries was expenditure, whereas sports equipment is an asset for the club. They have told you that the club had sports equipment on 1st January valued at rupees 26,000. So opening balance is given by the problem 26,000. This will be there in the opening balance sheet asset side. Then they have told you depreciation of rupees 3,000 in the income and expenditure account debit side. Depreciation of rupees 3,000 income and expenditure debit. That means it will be credited to sports equipment account current year depreciation. This 3,000 second effect is already given. We are not required to give any second effect. Next, closing balance is given by them as rupees 26,000. Sorry, at the end of the year it was 27,000. So closing balance is given 27,000, but it is given in adjustment. So second effect is necessary. It will go to balance sheet asset side, closing balance sheet asset side 27,000. So 3,000 is depreciation, closing balance is 27,000, total comes to 30,000. But opening balance was only 26,000. It means we must have purchased new machinery or new sports equipment to the extent of rupees 4,000, which is the balancing figure. Since it is purchased, cash must have gone out. Cash must have gone out. That means second effect will be receipt and payment account credit side. So 26,000 second effect opening balance sheet asset side. 4,000 second effect receipt and payment account credit side. 27,000 second effect closing balance sheet asset side. 3,000 second effect not necessary because it is already given in income and expenditure. We have already discussed it. Anything coming from I&D will have only one effect. Anything coming from adjustments will have two effects. So here we have completed all the basic adjustments. Let us now consider the receipt and payment account. I'm sure that you have prepared receipt and payment account format with proper heading, the Women Club receipt and payment account for the year ended 31st December 2021. Then we are going to write the opening balance, assuming that probably it is an opening positive balance. We'll keep it pending. This amount we are not knowing actually at this moment. So we'll keep it pending. And then we'll start writing all the different items which are available from income and expenditure account or from the working notes. Subscriptions, we have prepared the working note. We know that amount to be debited to receipt and payment account is 71,700. Entrance fees is amount which is given here 2,500. Second effect is R&P account debit side. Then contribution to annual dinner 10,000. Second effect is R&P account debit side. And annual sports meet receipt 7,500 will be again debit side of receipt and payment account. Salaries, we wanted to give second effect directly, but we have prepared a working note. The working note tells us that current year payment is only 47,000. This 47,500 is recorded by us in working note, and 47,000 is coming from the working note to the receipt and payment account. General expenses I had discussed. We'll have to add rupees 600, which is prepaid for the next year. But receipt and payment account doesn't talk about current year or next year. It only specifies cash has gone out. So total cash gone out is 5,600. Audit fees 2,000. We have discussed the same point again. Next, the secretary's honorarium 10,000, no adjustment. So as it is in the receipt and payment account credit side. Stationery and printing, no adjustment, 4,500 debit side. Annual dinner expenses, no adjustment, will be again R&P account debit side. Interest and bank charges, no adjustment, 1,500 R&P account credit side. For sports equipment, depreciation obviously is non-cash expenditure, can't come here, but we have transferred it in the sports equipment account. And there we have understood that 4,000 rupees new sports equipments are purchased by the Women Club. The receipt and payment account doesn't distinguish between capital expenditure and revenue expenditure, doesn't distinguish between current year and last year and next year. So capital expenditure is also recorded here, 4,000 rupees paid. The closing balance of receipt and payment is given by the problem as rupees 16,000 given in the last adjustment here. So closing balance is written, all payments are written, all receipts are written. Let us take the total. It will not tally. So the balancing figure is 13,900. There is a chance that in some other problem, the balancing figure may come on credit side. In that case, it implies that it's an overdraft balance in the opening date or on the opening date. Fortunately for this problem, there is no difficulty. 13,900 is a normal balance. It will go on opening balance sheet asset side. So we have prepared receipt and payment account. And then we have found out what must be the opening balance of cash and bank for which the problem was silent. Now using this information, we can prepare the opening balance sheet of working note, which we had kept blank format for half a page. We'll go there, we'll complete the balance sheet, we'll find out the capital fund. After that, we'll go for the closing balance sheet. So let us go back to the working note, opening balance sheet. Now in the opening balance sheet, you can see here, subscriptions received in advance, we had already discussed it. This 4,500 will be on liability side. Salaries outstanding 4,000 liability side. Audit fees unpaid in the last year 2,000 will be on the liability side. Bank loan was taken in the last year 20,000 will be on liability side. Freehold ground 1 lakh rupees. Ports equipment, this is opening balance, so we are considering 26,000. Subscriptions outstanding 6,000 will be again considered here. And cash and bank balance, which we have calculated from receipt and payment account, is now written here 13,900. Take the total, find out the balancing figure. The balancing figure is 1,15,400, which is our opening capital fund. Now since opening capital fund is available, I&D account is already ready given by the problem. RNP account is prepared by us. Now nobody can stop us from preparing the closing balance sheet. So let's go ahead with the last part of the solution, closing balance sheet. Closing balance sheet. Remember that capital fund which we have calculated just now in the opening balance sheet of 1,15,400 will go in the inner column. Add to that the surplus of rupees 6,000 from the I&D account will be added here. So the amount to the outer column is 1,21,400. You may write this capital fund not at the bottom in the closing balance sheet liability side, but you may write it as a first part on the liability side. But preferably write it like this, capital fund at the bottom. Then subscriptions received in advance on the closing date are rupees 2,700, that is a liability. Audit fees outstanding 2,500 for current year, closing balance sheet liability side. Salaries outstanding at the end are 4,500, and bank loan, since they have told that it was completely unpaid during the year, this was outstanding throughout the year. So opening balance sheet also 20,000, closing balance sheet also 20,000. Freehold ground is a land is non-depreciable asset. So opening balance sheet, closing balance sheet, same item. Sports equipment, you may directly write 27,000 because you have already prepared the working note. But if you want, you can also show as per the opening balance sheet 26, add additions 4,000, subtotal 30, closing balance is 27,000. That means depreciation is 3,000. Then closing subscription receivable outstanding is 7,500 from the adjustment. Prepaid insurance of 600 and cash in hand 16,000 given by the problem. And then take the total of balance sheet. If all the calculations are done by you correctly, then your balance sheet will tally at rupees 1,15,100. A little lengthy question, but I'm sure that if you are aware of the second effect, the basic principle, anything given in the account will have one effect, anything given in the adjustment will have two effects. If you understand exactly that opening cash balance is not given, so you'll have to prepare RNP account first, find out the opening cash balance, then go back to the opening balance sheet, find out the opening capital fund, and then come to the closing balance sheet to tally the balance sheet. If you have identified these different points properly in observation, there is a greater chance that you can solve this question maximum within 35 minutes in examination. So in the next question, I'm going to consider admission of a partner. Stay tuned.